Good afternoon, teacher. This is group number 11, and the research paper is Evaluation of the New Forms of Virtual Teaching of the English Language, a study with the teachers of higher education at Universidad Modular Abierta, year 2023, San Salvador. This study is presented by Esmeralda Acosta, Andrea Ramírez, and Saraí Valdez. To begin with, we have the table of contents. I am going to briefly summarize the chapter number 1 and chapter number 2. The first one is problem statement. And in this chapter, we explained why we chose this topic. And we started talking about the Plan Nacional de Educación 2005-2021. And in this one, there is an objective that says that El Salvador adopted 4 fundamental objectives, including promoting the development of science and technology for the well-being of society. This objective has allowed technology, science, and education to be closely related in Salvadoran education. Since the pandemic, people have started using technology to teach classes, to work. So how do teachers in higher education use these technologies to teach better English? This study is not based on the results specifically that what the students see, but how teachers use technology to teach English. Then on the same chapter, we have the description of the problem, research question, but I'm going to say the objectives, the general objectives and the specific objectives. The general one is to evaluate how this new virtual way of teaching are helping teachers to teach English, which is the main topic, the main idea. And then in specific objectives, we're going to mention the 3 things that we chose to make this study. And the first one is the television as a teaching program, as a teaching resource, how if there are enough programs to teach English or if teachers use them correctly to teach. And then we also have the internet as a teaching resource and the television and the social networks as a teaching resource. Then on chapter number 2, we have the antecedents. And in here, we started talking about who was the first person to ever talk about didactics. And then we have the John Amos Comenius started talking about didactics when he said that children could learn better if they see a word and they also see the picture that is related to that word. And we know now that even though he thought that for children, everybody thinks better when they see a picture, or there are many different ways that we learn, and some people can learn better by listening, by watching a movie, by listening to a podcast or to an audio on YouTube, and how teachers can use this technology to support the students to learn better during classes. Now, we have in this chapter the background and all of the information about who started talking about technology and the new virtual ways of teaching. And then we also have the 3 of them specifically specified during this research paper: television, the internet, and the social networks.
In this research, we have created some hypotheses, and the general hypothesis is the new forms of virtual teaching have positively changed education. Hypothesis 1, television as a teaching resource has enough educational programs compared to a few years before the pandemic. Because now, as we can see, before the pandemic or during the pandemic years, the educational minister has included some like educational programs. Okay, hypothesis 2, the internet contains various information that helps teachers to better teach their English classes. Hypothesis 3, social networks are a good means of communication, but they are not intended to be a means of teaching and learning. Next. Okay. Okay, this study design is transactional correlational since this design describes the relationship between two or more categories, concepts, or variables at a given time, either in correlational terms or in terms of the cause-effect relationship. Because in this study, we are going to relate the television as a teaching research, the internet as a teaching research, and the social network as a teaching research. Okay, as an example, that the thing that we want to like investigate in this study is because during the pandemic, okay, we know that nobody was prepared for the change that we got. For example, when we were doing our teaching practice, I was in a school that they were not teaching classes like in a meeting. They were just giving classes through WhatsApp, just sending messages. And from this time has passed 2 years. So we want to like found out like, for example, if we got a pandemic again, that we don't want that, but if, for example, if we got a pandemic again, how we are prepared now if we are, for example, include new forms of teaching. For example, if we after the pandemic, we can be more prepared to teach classes in a virtual way. And that's it.
Good afternoon. I'm going to continue explaining this part. And well, these are some important aspects that are part of the chapter number 4, that is the methodology. The first point that we have says type of study. In this case, the type of our study is correlational because it describes the relationship between two or more variables that at a given time. Then we have the design of the study. In this case, the design for the study that we have is transactional correlational because it will determine the relationship between the variables, establishing two the different factors that can explain the phenomena or the problem that we have studied. The point number 3 is population and sample. First, we have the population, and well, the study considers 51 teachers of all the degrees of sciences and humanities faculty of the Universidad Modular Abierta. And related with the sample, well, our sample is by convenience because this type of sample allow us to choose those subjects to whom is more accessible. And well, they are 9 English teachers of the Universidad Modular Abierta. In the part of the reliability and validity of the surveys, the reliability is in order to know, well, what is the consistency that the instrument has. And in the part of the validity is in order to know how the instrument reflects a specific characteristic of the data. And the last one that we have is instruments and techniques to collect the data. In the part of the instruments, we have decided to use a Likert type instrument that is a psychometric scale that is going to help us to order the different answers that we are going to get from the instrument. And about the techniques to collect the data, we are going to use the descriptive statistics because throughout this type of statistics, will allow us to describe a specific characteristic of the data. And well, this type of statistics involve some formulas, for example, the mood, median, mean, variance, and standard deviation, and others. Can you pass to the other, please? Okay, here we have the instruments to collect the data. The next one, please. And well, here, as you can see, we have our instrument, our liquor time instrument, and well, we have divided in 30 items in which teachers are going to answer, and they are going to answer according to their experience. They are going to choose from 1 to 5. 1 says strongly disagree, number 2 disagree, number 3 neutral, number 4 agree, and number 5 strongly agree. We have 10 items for each microvariable that we have. The first that says television as a teaching resource, and then we have the internet, and the last one that is social network and teaching. So in total, we have 30 items in our instrument. Okay, next. Okay, well, this is all for us. Thank you so much and have a nice day.